Agostina Gisfman was born in Neuquén City of Argentina. However, the family relocated to Rio Negro. Agostina was born into a very young couple and brought them immense happiness. Agostina is a sweet, amiable person who enjoys spending time with her friends. But when she's 15, her new friends who didn't provide a good example for her caused her to change her behavior. She learned to drink and use illegal drugs, which got her parents into trouble. Her parents want to correct him and get him back to his old ways, so he starts getting reprimanded more and more and gets into problems at home. At that point, Agostina's parents imposed restrictions, forbidding her from leaving the house during the night. Additionally, she is not permitted to date anyone she previously dated. As a result, Agostina began to rebel and even considered leaving. Finally, in April 2018, that time arrived. Agostina became deeply involved with Martin, a young man she met. In June of the same year, after barely 2 months of dating, they got engaged and tied the knot right away. That was Agostina's opportunity to escape the constraints placed on her by her parents. At that point, Agostina realized she had to work and stop depending on her parents, which made it harder for her to make ends meet. At the age of 20, Agostina became pregnant in 2019. By then, their financial situation makes getting married even more difficult. Despite the danger, Agostina considered selling her body as soon as she gave birth in order to increase her income. In April 2021, Gustavo Koenig, the owner of an auto repair shop, gets a message from Juan Carlos Monsalve, an old friend. In addition to driving taxis, Juan also sells fruits and vegetables. He informed Gustavo in his message that he was hoping to meet a girl and have sex with her. And Gustavo answers Juan's request right away, because he is aware of the city's offerings. Using his contacts, he set up the meeting at Juan's request. Juan was first introduced to Agostina at that point. Juan is nearly 30 years Agostina's senior. Juan's wish came true when the two met at the hotel. It was not an isolated incident. Because Agostina's service is the reason they frequently get together. Agostina once snapped a selfie in front of the mirror at the hotel, and Juan was behind it. Unknown factors caused that Agostina picture circulated and become popular in the city, and Juan's wife Ana Maria Perales is one of those who saw the message. Her cell phone rang as she was coming from grocery shopping and opening their main door. She was surprised to see Agostina's picture when she opened it, and he could see Juan behind it. At that point, she discovered Juan was having an affair with her. Despite the fact that Juan had deceived her before during their many years of marriage, Ana was furious. Ana was waiting for her husband to return home and was very mad. She wants to confront him and tell him that she wanted to leave and bring their son with her. Additionally, because Juan needs her at that moment and has had his legs amputated due to diabetes, she doesn't want to care for him anymore. Juan cried out to Ana not to leave him after she threatened him, and he vowed to do everything in his power to mend their relationship. Ana stated that Juan having to handle Agostina's murder is the only way to persuade her to stay at home and mend their relationship. Juan accepted his wife's demands without hesitation in order to hide his guilt and betrayal, so he came up with a plan to kill Agostina right away. His first knowledge was of Agostina's location. Despite their frequent meetings, he doesn't have direct communication with her because Gustavo is the one who sets up their meetings, and he doesn't even know her residence. Juan was forced to get in touch with Gustavo once more. Juan reveals to Gustavo why he must see Agostina once more. Gustavo then promised to make every effort to see and get in touch with Agostina once more. On May 11, 2021, Ana moved with her son from their home to San Javier, a town close to Centenario, where she had previously resided with her husband Juan. Juan was ready to do anything to get Ana back to him because of what had happened, which made him even more desperate. Gustavo called Juan at around 5:30 p.m. on May 14th to inform him that he had been able to locate Agostina with the assistance of friends and other people. Then they planned their next move and discussed how to kill Agostina. Gustavo then messaged Agostina right away to let her know that Juan wanted to meet her again. Agostina thought she would make money again, so she agreed right away. As a result, they have agreed to meet at the roundabout at the intersection of Highway 151 at 7:20 p.m. on the same day. Agostina got everything the child needed right away and gave it to his mother first. At around 7 in the evening, Agostina was picked up by a friend and taken to the place where they had talked about meeting Juan. After Agostina arrived, a black car stopped in front of her, and the driver was Juan. Juan took her to a remote and open field where no one would see them. When the car stopped, Juan immediately started punching Agostina. Agostina managed to fight back, but Juan was so strong that only a few minutes later she lost consciousness. After that, Juan called his nephew, who works in their vegetable store, to help him get rid of Agostina, as he could not walk without assistance. Juan drove again to a place where all the surrounding residents were throwing garbage. Around that time, a car reappeared with additional accomplices inside. Agostina was forced to move out of the car, and they repeatedly stabbed her until she was fatally wounded. They still don't feel satisfied. To ensure that there would be no evidence in the event, they even threw Agostina's body in the trash and started to burn it. Juan went back to the crime scene a few hours later to confirm Agostina's death. The family of Agostina patiently awaited her return, but she never did. They made the decision to call the police out of fear. However, Agostina's body was discovered by a waste collector the following day. He thus went straight to the police and reported what he had seen. The police immediately investigated whose body was found. After an autopsy, it was determined that it was Agostina. They also discovered that she had numerous stab wounds that struck her vital organs in addition to being burned. Simultaneously, the police wanted to know who's the last person Agostina with while she's still alive. It was her friend who escorted her to the location where she and Juan would meet. The police were able to view the CCTV system in that area. Afterwards, it was observed that she entered a black Chevrolet. It was also discovered that the vehicle was only rented through a car rental company, where it was known that Juan had rented the car at 6 o'clock on May 14th. CCTV footage also showed that he went to the location where Agostina's body was discovered and that they burned her corpse. They were just unlucky because there were so many CCTV cameras in that area. Without further delay, the investigators went in search of the suspects. Juan was spotted in San Javier, the town where his wife had relocated. Juan was wiping the car when the police came. Following the initial incarceration of every criminal accomplice, their main goal was to gather more evidence so they could charge the suspects. Technology plays a major role in the investigation, not only because of the photos taken by the CCTV, but also because of the audio recordings, messages, and calls that were found when the criminal's phone was being investigated. It is evident from the evidence that the crime was planned. Conversations between Juan and Gustavo suggest that they planning to murder Agostina in order to mend Juan and Ana's relationship. In addition to Ana's request, Juan called Ana at 8:21 on the night of the crime, confirming that he had followed her request. Enough evidence was gathered by the investigators to bring charges against the perpetrators. 4 persons in all were detained in connection with Agostina's murder: Juan, Ana, Gustavo, and Maximiliano, Juan's niece. In September 2022, nearly a year after pre-trial detention, the trial got underway. Ana as the mastermind, and Gustavo as a co-conspirator, while the primary offenders are Juan and Maximiliano. Over the course of 6 days, 12 civilians showed up to carefully listen to the arguments made by the prosecution and defense. Juan entered a guilty plea and acknowledged killing Agostina based on the evidence that was presented. And he sobbed as he said he was compelled to do that. Subsequently, he claimed that he was searching for the 1 million Argentine pesos that Agostina had stolen from him, along with illicit substances that he was selling. He said that Agostina promised to give back the money, but not the illicit substances, as her partner already consumed it. However, the prosecution rejected that, knowing full well that Juan's defense team was merely using it as a tactic to further their client's interests. They also said that because of Juan's betrayal of Ana, Ana asked him for that. November 2022. On the charges of premeditated conspiracy and aggravated murder with violence, Juan and Maximiliano received life sentences. However, Ana was sentenced to the same life in prison for encouraging Juan to commit the crime. Meanwhile, Gustavo received a 13-year prison term for his role as a minor accomplice. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your support means the world to me.